He looked just like me, same eyes, same silence before speaking. "Dad," he said, holding that old shoebox like it weighed a lifetime. I hadn't heard that word in 15 years. He stood at my apartment door, grown, cautious, unsure if the man before him was worth calling father. Then he said the words that cracked the quiet. "Mom died last month. I found this in her closet, letters she never sent you, and a recording. She said the divorce wasn't what you think." The box trembled slightly in his hands. I didn't take it right away. I just stared at him, every memory of her slicing through the years like glass. 15 years ago, I lost everything in one day. My wife, my son, my company, and $60 million. The court called it fair. The media called it scandal. She called it justice. "He'll never know what a failure you are," she told me outside the courthouse, her hand gripping our son's shoulder. I remember her smile then, measured, polished, perfect for the cameras. I'd built her an empire. She walked away with the crown. What I didn't know then was why. Elena wasn't always venom. When we met, she was warmth, sharp-minded, ambitious, with a laugh that could cut through my worst days. I built a tech firm from my garage, and she built me into a man the world noticed. We were inseparable. She handled the press, the investors, the illusion of perfection. When our son Lucas was born, she made me promise I'd never let success consume me. But success is a slow poison. It tastes like love until it kills it. By the 5th year of my company's boom, I was spending more time in boardrooms than at home. And she was spending more time with my CFO. I didn't see it at first. No one ever does. It was the small things that gave her away. Her perfume lingered when she said she'd been at yoga. Our accountant flinched when I asked simple questions. And then, one night, I came home early. She was on the phone, whispering. "He'll sign it tomorrow," she said. When she hung up, she smiled at me like she hadn't just buried me alive. 2 weeks later, I was served divorce papers. Adultery, negligence, emotional cruelty. She had built a case so perfect it looked real. My lawyers said fight it, but the media storm she unleashed drowned me before I could breathe. Within 6 months, I was stripped bare, and she was gone, with our son. For the first year, I drowned in whiskey and self-loathing. For the second, I studied. By the third, I was ready. Revenge isn't rage, it's patience sharpened into purpose. I built a small firm under a different name, offshore, quiet. While the world saw a broken man, I was building something far cleaner than code, evidence. Every asset she took, every document she forged, every transfer she orchestrated through my old CFO, I found it. She'd built her empire on my ashes, but her foundation was fraud. Still, I waited. 15 years teaches you restraint. Now, standing in front of me, my son, 23, taller than I remembered, was holding the key to everything. We sat at my table. He opened the shoebox. Inside were stacks of letters, yellowed with time, all addressed to me, none sent. He'll never forgive me. They said it would protect him. If he ever learns the truth, tell him I didn't want this. My hands shook, for the first time in years. Then Lucas pulled out a small voice recorder. He pressed play. Elena's voice filled the room, older, cracked with regret. "If you're hearing this, Lucas, it means I couldn't face the truth while I was alive. The divorce, it wasn't about money. They threatened your father. His company had evidence of a data cover-up by government contractors. If he didn't take the fall, they said they'd destroy him, and us. The CFO convinced me to file, said it was the only way to protect you. But he lied. He took everything and disappeared. Your father didn't fail us, Lucas. I failed him." The recording ended. The silence after was heavier than any sentence. My revenge had been building toward the wrong target. All those years of quiet rage, all those sleepless nights planning how I'd make her pay. And the real betrayer had been right beside me the whole time. The CFO, Gregory Hunt, the man I'd once called my friend. He'd used her, destroyed me, and vanished with $60 million under a new identity. But I already knew where he was. I'd been watching him for years, just never knowing why. 3 weeks later, I flew to Zurich. He lived under the name Henry Lawson, running a financial consultancy that catered to billionaires with secrets. I scheduled a meeting under a fake company. He didn't recognize me at first. Age had changed us both. When he did, his face went pale. He tried to speak, but I raised my hand. Don't. You've had 15 years of talking. It's my turn. I slid a flash drive across the table. Inside, his entire history. False identities, embezzled accounts, offshore laundering. Every crime documented, traced, time-stamped. I've already sent copies to the Swiss authorities, I told him, and one to the IRS, another to Interpol. But I thought you deserved to see it hit zero yourself. He laughed then, shaking, a pathetic, hollow sound. You'll ruin yourself too. I smiled. I already did, 15 years ago. When I walked out, he was still sitting there, breathing heavy, staring at the flash drive like it was a loaded gun. 2 days later, he was arrested at the airport. I didn't celebrate. I just went home. Lucas was waiting for me, the shoebox still on my table. He asked, "Did you forgive her?" I thought for a long time before answering. "No," I said, "but I understand her." He nodded, quietly. Then he handed me one last letter from the box. It was unopened, addressed to me. "If you ever get this, I hope you found peace. You were always the smarter one. I just wanted to keep our son safe." I folded it back into the envelope, left it sealed. Some truths don't need opening twice. Now, when I look at my son, I don't see the years I lost. I see the proof that I survived them. Revenge didn't give me back what she took. It gave me back myself. And that's worth more than $60 million ever was.